How's it going, YouTube? This is Levi from Bayfoils.
Danny from Just Foil LA.
And here we are with our first takes on the new Fliteboard Air inflatables. So if you haven't already seen our video where we go stress test them under the Golden Gate Bridge, I'll put a link in the description so you can watch us testing it in probably some of the most gnarly conditions either of us have ever foiled in. And you know, I'm super happy to say that this airboard really stood up to it.
Yeah, we put it through its paces. I even caught a little bit of boat wake. For those of you who've ridden, or for many of you who probably haven't, we don't really suggest going out when it's 30 knots, you know, gusting.
No.
But we really wanted to make a point that, you know, just because it's inflatable doesn't mean it can't handle. And I will challenge anyone that it probably handles better, if not on par, with brands that are double the price.
Absolutely.
I've
gotten my feet under a lot of different e-foils, and a lot of them have the same kind of issues. Fucking airplane.
Because there's really only a few players, but this was such a big drop from our friends over at Flight as the leaders, as the Porsche, is what I always tell people, in the space of e-foils.
The Mercedes, the premium, premium brand.
Yeah, is Flight. And for them to release something like this is kind of like, you know, their Boxer, for those of you that are Porsche fans. Well, maybe more of like a Cayman.
I play video games.
Okay.
So this is like, you know, GeForce 4090 for half the price. But I remember going to Fri's and getting like just no name brand graphics card, and you're like, well, let's see if it runs a game. And you're just rolling the dice. And that's kind of how it was until Flight had this unit. You know, there are the alternative brands that were at the half price point, $6,500, $7,000. If you're not familiar with any of them, all you need to do is go on the forums and see all the issues that you kind of had with those brands. Battery troubles, Bluetooth.
Actually, let me pause them. Forget about the forums. That's what you have us for.
Yeah.
You know, we're out here testing the damn thing. You know,
yeah.
We're not just, you know, keyboard warriors. You know what I mean? Maybe at times, depending on how passionate we are.
I've seen you in the forums.
Yeah, likewise. Like, we spend enough time on that and on the water to do this. And it's really a labor of love. Like, we're not, you know, it's still not that profitable of a business, not to get into the nitty gritty of it, but like, you know, we really have to love what the hell we're doing. For me to miss a flight, book another flight, spend all this money just to come down here for 2 days to talk about,
to get your feet
you know,
on the
an
new
inflatable
stuff.
board. You know, that's passion right there.
At the end of the day, we're both foilers, and whatever gets people out on the water, foiling is great, because this is a really niche new thing. It's not big, it's not like jet skis or boating. There's really only 5 brands that are in it.
And it used to be 2 that are leading it, but that second one is kind of here, and
Flight's just been continuing to push
blowing
ahead.
them out of the water.
And we're just really stoked because the Air is really like having your cake and eating it too. My biggest issue with the other not Flight brands is really the power of the motor. That's kind of my biggest gripe with the other brands that I've tried. Fliteboard, the way their motor is engineered, it's not a direct drive system, so it's a little louder.
I don't know
but
if you guys
have,
can see this.
Like Danny was saying, it's the Porsche. You have tons of horsepower, tons of torque. I'll zoom in on it on the computer.
So you can see it's got the fuselage unibody. So no other brand does that. The brands that have tried have failed terribly. And I've ridden them all, and they are so sketch. I would never take one out under the Golden Gate. Like, no. You know, I don't recommend that in general, but if there's a brand that I could confidently do it on and did do it on, it's the Fliteboard Air. There's even boards on the market now that are around the same price as this, used market, that people are gonna come out and be like, oh yeah, well you can get this board that used to be double the price, but it's used. It's carbon fiber. I will put my money where my mouth is. I guarantee you this will outperform all of them on the market, unless it's a carbon fiber flight board. The only other board that can perform better than this, currently on the market today, and foreseeably for the entire year of 2024, unless someone drops some crazy shit.
I really don't.
I highly doubt it.
Highly doubt it.
Maybe Audi, but they're They can't even sell to the U.S.
That's a whole nother
It's a whole
video.
other conversation,
That's a
yeah.
whole
That's a whole
nother
other video.
conversation there.
And the Puerto Rican brand, like, yeah, they released a carbon mast that's stiffer, but if you still have the same drag and it's still water cooled and you still have a massive remote, do I really care about a stiffer carbon mast?
That tech is kind of cool. It's on par with the new Mark Newson performance foil. They're both 4K pre-preg carbon, you know, Japanese carbon.
Right, but it's the same e-foil technology of 4 years ago.
We're a little bit
guys,
behind.
Let's wake up, people.
We're a little bit behind on the tech front, and that kind of is what sums up the having your cake and eating it too with the airboard.
Yeah.
You have the current generation of Fliteboard's technology in the motor, in the app, in the computer, in the Bluetooth. You have the best safety in the battery. You have the best technology. The board is a much, much more inexpensive board to produce because carbon fiber is notoriously expensive to get right, and Fliteboard does it right, not cheap. And so this airboard provides a super cost-effective way to get the tech of the best brand, to get the performance of the best brand at a stupid price.
Here's the best part. Once you outgrow this, you can get a fiberglass board.
I would outgrow it.
You can get a... Right, I mean, this is going to have its place for a lot of people.
For 90% of people out there,
Not outgrowing, like if you want to upgrade, if you're trying to progress more.
You could always upgrade, but as our videos shows, you can do anything.
You can progress on it quite a bit.
Anything that a regular board can do on this airboard. You can
all the same wings work.
You can go out in 30+ mile/hour winds during a
as you can see
under the Golden Gate Bridge.
But we've done it.
But it's possible. The performance of this board is on par.
And let's talk about that for a second. So we get out, right? It was gusting, and when I'm like, it was like, you know, wind is hitting me in the face this way, hitting me in the face the other way. And, you know, yeah, you have a bit of a more buoyant, less, you know, maneuverable board because it's an inflatable. But with all things considered, you know, I should have been falling off the board left and right. We only started falling once we started to, like, you know, jumping it a bit. We were tired at the end, you know, but for the most part, we were on foil the entire time.
For me, it wasn't that the board didn't have the same performance as the carbon. It was mainly just the creature features. As we found out, the air boards are a little bit heavier than the carbon boards, and you can feel that when you're carrying it. Like carrying it in and out of the water, flipping it over. Sure, it's a little bit heavier, but when you're up and foiling, thanks to the way the weight is distributed on the air, it still feels really snappy and really easy to turn.
And if you're really concerned about weight, 2 nanos is probably going to be the move. If you want to have a little bit of a longer range and not worry too much about battery, then stick to the Sport.
Or get one of the performance carbon masts that are coming out soon.
Yeah.
Like that'll offset your weight and still probably be under 10 grand.
That's the cool part. You can stick a carbon fiber mast
on the airboard,
on an inflatable board
with a nano, and
rip harder than most things on the market once again. Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
We're really trying to, like, at least I am, I don't know about Levi, you know, embrace all foilers and grow the foiling community together, especially e-foils, right? Less like comparing this brand to that brand. But the reason we get so into the nitty-gritty is, like, at least for me, it's the safety, you know? Like, if people are getting injured, if houses are burning down, the Sport is not gonna grow and it's gonna be dead in the water, right?
All it takes is one serious injury from the lack of the manufacturer's safety side to get these things banned.
Yes.
You know, all that. In all seriousness, it is a real concern from both the manufacturers and us as Fliteboard schools. We have to be really concerned with safety and making sure that we really have no fatal accidents, because that's all it takes for the government to come in, see e-foiling as a social danger, and slap us with the ban hammer.
And because already right now too, like they look sketchy, they look dangerous, but they're way safer than surfing. Again, I'm happy to send you articles. Message me, I'll send them to you.
It's for sure safer than a jet ski.
For sure safer than a jet ski.
You flip a jet ski, you got a lot of issues.
And here's a funny fact that people forget. Safer than driving a damn car. So there's really no reason for you not
Especially
to get
if you live
on
in
one
LA.
of these. Maybe San Francisco too. this whole like NorCal versus SoCal, you know what I mean? We're gonna one of the days we're just gonna duke it out, and see who wins.
What we need to do is we need 3 rounds, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition
on the boards.
While we're playing,
yes,
we get 2 switches and just
stay tuned. We're thinking about doing what is it called with the
jousting
each other. That'd be pretty amazing.
We get some paddles with some foam tips. I can see it happening.
Just the tips.
And this is how flightboarding got banned.
Do a jousting video?
We should.
I would love to. I promise you and I challenge you, join us on another day where it's blowing 30, right?
Yes.
Bring your setup and let's just let the riding do the talking.
I am more than happy to.
But just please keep your distance, because I'm not trying to get run into.
I'm more than happy to bring out some Waydo fanboys or Lyft fanboys and, collab. We can get out on the water, we can do some drag racing and really get some IRL empirical evidence on performance. And just also the ride feel. It's really hard to comment on the ride feel because there's a level of subjectivity.
Right.
We all have different preferences. Danny here likes to just cut and go. I like to cruise at more of a slower speed and do like some snappy turns. And so that's subjective on how we like our ride style. But there is objective things like safety, battery technology,
live trigger,
and
instability,
and the modularity that Fliteboard offers. Yeah. That really is why we're both Fliteboard aficionados.
This I've probably ridden 7 boards at this point. I was really stoked. Again, not to name any brands, but this is a good one to bring up. Like the Awake, and I got to give it to them. Like they really tried to make a really easy modular system. But it just doesn't ride that well. It's not stable, it's really sketchy, it's nose heavy. Even though it looks like the same style, same design of the fuselage, but
I think the full weight, like curb weight of their hydrofoil is 80 pounds.
Wow.
So that's about 40 pounds heavier than the airboard with a Nano. So
it's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot of weight.
Even the Audi looks really cool too, but there's a reason you barely see them or hear about them. It's just a very niche. And remember, it's not Audi North America or Audi Global.
It's aerofoil.
Correct. It's aerofoil, got the licensing from Audi, so don't get it twisted. Yeah. If it was actual Audi, I'd be one of the first to jump on it probably. I'm a little biased to the Volkswagen group of cars.
For the Flex.
For the Flex, exactly. Speaking of new items, and you can look at this picture right here, the new Sea-Doo is a huge fail.
Ooh.
The new Sea-Doo foil, they just built it without consulting any foilers or surfers or anything.
Big yikes.
Yeah, please save your money. At least maybe try it first if you're gonna buy it.
Yeah.
But I'd rather you buy a jet ski than that. That's tried and true. You know what I mean?
Whether you're getting into the sport and looking at like the entry level price, or you're
looking to progress,
or upgrading your rig and looking at like a Ultra L or Magnuson, Fliteboard is really the go-to brand for 2024, and we're really excited to see how this season shapes up. Please remember, like and subscribe. Just Foil LA, Bay Foils, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you guys soon. Thanks for watching. I mean, it's really hard to not shit on other brands, bro. I'm having a hard time.
Honestly, I try not to shit on the ride sensation because that's subjective, but I will shit on objective facts all day.